Chat, I am shit at aiming when it comes to, well, Marvel Rivals in specific. I am very good at aiming when it comes to Call of Duty, but that's besides the point. So I'm gonna watch this video to learn how to aim better, basically.
What's going on, everyone? I've noticed that there's a massive lack of videos that actually explains what each of the aim curves do in Marvel Rivals, so after hours of research and years of experience using these curves in other games, I'm going to be explaining what each curve does, showing
Okay.
you my own settings, and recommending what curve you should use based on the type of hero that you use. So if you are interested in any of that, I'd recommend watching the whole video because I'll be explaining the key concepts behind
Bro,
aim
this guy is a god at aiming. I can see why he's able to use Phoenix.
curves. These concepts will allow you to improve.
I can't play Phoenix to save my life. That's why I play Bucky, bro. Because, like, I don't have to hit my shots dead on. Like, if I get headshots, it's way better in terms of killing the other character or the other team faster. But, like, you don't have to get headshots, and you don't even have to really hit them dead on.
And master controller aiming. So the first option that we have is dual zone. The game states that aim sensitivity is mildly adjusted at low and high stick tilts, with a sharper adjustment at the mid tilt. The way that they've worded this is technically right, however it doesn't actually explain what dual zone is, and the default settings for this curve are actually awful. I would never recommend anybody to use these settings, and I'll give you a much better curve to use. But anyway, what this curve is exactly that. It's a dual zone. There's two zones of sensitivity. So I drew a little diagram so it's easier to explain. Just imagine that the circle
Damn,
is your
bro,
right
this
stick.
guy's
The
good.
stick is split into two different zones. You have the inner zone and the outer zone. The inner zone makes it so that your stick movements are less sensitive for more precise movement. The outer zone makes it so that your sensitivity will ramp up faster with larger movements. This is similar to other curves, however the other curves have standard acceleration, but dual zone has its own acceleration split between the two zones. So if you were to move your stick all the way to the left or all the way to the right, you'll be entering the outer zone, and it will ramp your sensitivity up faster. If you were to move it by a little bit, you'd be in
That
the inner
makes
zone.
sense. I've noticed that subconsciously, but I don't actually think about that. That's the thing. Maybe I should start like thinking consciously about all of this while I'm playing the game.
Where the acceleration would be a lot slower. So this is pretty good for when you want to be fast and accurate at the same time. However, the default curve that the game gives you is very bad, so I will give you a much better one at the end of the video. The default curve is absolutely awful. They've basically made the inner zone the majority of your stick's input and then a tiny outer zone for acceleration. This is why so many people that use dual zone have terrible aim and choppy camera movement, and it's because they're using curves that look like that. The next few curves are a lot more simple.
So that's what, like, besides the fact that it's not an FPS, it's a third person shooter, that would be why I have such an issue aiming in this game. Even with controller.
The classic curve is listed as stick tilt to
Well,
progressively
I guess he's going over controller exactly, but I don't have any better of a time trying to aim on keyboard and mouse, and I can't play Rivals on keyboard and mouse at all. Like, I can play way better on keyboard and mouse than I ever could on controller when it comes to Call of Duty and like actual FPS games, but when it comes to this game, I can only use controller.
The next few curves are a lot more simple. The classic curve is listed as stick tilt to progressively boost aim sensitivity. This is a fancy way of saying exponential. So basically exponential means that the further you move your stick, the faster your sensitivity will become. So there is acceleration of your sensitivity. The classic curve actually used to be called linear in the game before they changed it. I'm not really sure why they called it linear, however it's what I used to use before they changed it. It allows you to still make finer adjustments, however there is no inner zone of acceleration, so it's just one big curve. So the top of the curve is the fastest that you can go, which is the sensitivity that you set, and the bottom is 0, which is you not moving your camera. So then it will slowly increase your sensitivity as you push the stick further until you hit your peak. So if you played at, for example, 500 sensitivity, as you can see in the graph, it will limit it at 500 until you let go of your stick or stop pushing it all the way. So if classic is exponential, what does the actual exponential curve do? So the game states that stick tilt progressively sharpens aim sensitivity for exponential. So after testing both of these curves, the only difference I could find is that the classic curve has some sort of smoothing layer on top of the exponential curve, so it makes aiming a lot smoother on the classic. Exponential actually removes smoothing as you tilt the stick, and after testing it, I can confirm this is right. So exponential is the same as classic curve, but without any smoothing applied. I can't lie, I've tested out exponential for a while and it doesn't feel very good for aiming, and I think that's partly because there is no smoothing on the curve. So I might find there is settings that will make it feel better, but for my own personal experience, so I've not found anything that makes it feel better than classic. So the final curve is linear. Linear is basically the raw input of your stick. There is no curve, it's just simply a straight line from 0 to 100. So if you move your stick by 20%, the camera in game will move by 20%. So if you play linear, your camera movement isn't actually dictated by your sensitivity.
I haven't even thought about this. I wonder what mine is set at. I'm gonna have to keep this in mind and maybe change it when I get back into the game.
But the actual movement of your stick. So your sensitivity kind of acts as a cap for how fast you can move. It will always be the same speed, however it will feel slow if you move your stick slowly, and it will feel fast if you move your stick fast. I'm not really entirely sure if there is acceleration or smoothing on linear in this game, however true linear has zero smoothing and zero acceleration. My advice is to completely avoid this setting as it feels kind of bugged and very inconsistent. It doesn't feel like linear from any other game that I've played, for example Fortnite, COD and Overwatch. However, if you do have settings for these that you'd recommend, let me know and I'll try them. But after testing for a while, I cannot find settings that make this curve feel good. It feels really weird and inconsistent, and that's even after testing them for a good, few days at least. And also because I'm a high sensitivity player, it makes high sense feel really, really bad. So now I'm going to show you the...
Bro, this is kind of off topic, but is this guy just good at every fucking character? What the hell?
Curve that I actually use for most heroes, and that is a custom geozone curve that is an actual S curve, not the abomination that the game gives you. I'd recommend trying out this curve if you want to use geozone, and I've had so many people say to...
Fuck this, I'm taking a picture. So I remember.
me, it's really, really helped out their aim, and it works on any sensitivity, no matter what. So my curve is split into 3 different areas: low input, mid input and high input. So the low input is dampened, it allows for very fine and precise micro adjustments. So the mid input speeds up faster, giving a quicker response, and then the high input flattens.
I kind of want to try it out just to see how completely different it is. Or if I even notice a difference.
Out the sensitivity again so that you don't overshoot as badly. So it basically makes it so that the middle of the curve is the highest point and then it tapers off at the end. So it allows me to be really fast when turning and swapping between different targets while also being very smooth and consistent with my tracking. And that's pretty much it for all the curves, including the S curve that I use. Now I'm going to recommend what type of curve you should use for each type of hero. So for anyone that's hit scan or projectile, so heroes like Hela, Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Emma, Strange, Luna, anybody, my S curve will definitely work the best for them. It gives the smoothest aim, fastest camera movement and precise target switching, so it's ideal for pretty much all situations.
Okay.
And now for heroes like Black Panther, Thing, Scarlet Witch, basically anybody that you don't really have to aim with but still have to be fast with, I'd recommend using Classic Curve as it will allow for very consistent camera movement, but it will have less consistent aim. You'll still be able to turn faster with the classic ramp up than Geozone, so I do recommend that. And for my own personal Black Panther settings, I definitely use Classic Curve and maximum sensitivity. And for everybody else, I use my Geozone settings. I definitely wouldn't recommend using Expo or Linear in this game, but if you do have really good settings for these curves, let me know and I'll see if I can try them out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's everything I want to cover about these curves. If you've got any questions, let me know, because I'll definitely be answering everything in the comments. And these videos take quite a while for me to make and research, so if you did enjoy, please like the video because it really, really helps me out.
No, that was perfect. I'm gonna give you a subscription as well. That was perfect. No notes. I want to try it.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I've got a few more clips of me using my curve, and I hope you enjoy them. Thanks for watching.
That's 3! Wow, 4 in a row! Executioner!
This guy is crazy. Holy shit.
That's 3! Wow, 4 in a row!
Down and out.
Double kill! That's 3!
Freezes start.
Whoa. Holy
Anyone
shit.
going to help? That's three. Wow, 4 in a row. 5. That's amazing. Missionary.
Bro, watching this makes me feel like he's hacking, even though I know he's not, and he's just actually, like, godlike at aiming. Like, if I was up against this, just like I was up against a crazy-ass Black Panther yesterday, the shit he was doing was so insane that I could literally not do anything, and I had to rage quit and stop being a healer because I was sick and tired of being dove on and getting my entire team killed. So I just gave up and went to tank because I'm like, I'm not doing this. This guy is too good for me to deal with, and I don't know what to do. So I'm just gonna give up. I can't leave the match, but I'm gonna give up my role to somebody else to deal with it. I can't do it.
10 seconds.
Beholds the god of thunder!
Damn, I thought he was gonna get him before he came down.
Until we have a winner.
I am Asgard's might!
Double KO.
Bro, what?
That's 3.
This is crazy.
Wow, 4 in a row.
Bro, the rocket was running away and the game was over and you still went after him. That's crazy. That's insane. Bro, this was a good video. Holy shit. I gotta listen to this guy more often. Anyways, chat, if you liked the video, go subscribe to him. He's got almost 4K subscribers. Go give him a subscription. Here's the username if you want to look up the username instead of the name of the channel. But that's the username. Go give him a subscription. And if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. I will see y'all later.